Hello, my friend. Once called the poor man's lobster and thrown back as trash, monkfish now commands top dollar at high-end restaurants worldwide. What's behind the rise of this bizarre, bottom-dwelling fish, and what does its story reveal about ocean stewardship, culinary innovation, and the search for new sustainable seafood? The monkfish, Lophius americanus in the northwest Atlantic, Lophius piscatorius in Europe, also known as anglerfish, goosefish, or headfish, is among the strangest creatures in the sea. It can grow up to 4 feet, 1.2 meters, and weigh over 50 pounds, 23 kg. Its mouth is as wide as its body, lined with rows of needle-sharp teeth. Most of its mass is head. The rest is a slim, tapering tail. Adaptations. Camouflage. The mottled brown skin blends with muddy or sandy sea bottoms. Lure. A fleshy appendage. Elysium. On its head wiggles to attract prey. Diet. Voracious ambush predator, devouring fish, squid, even seabirds. Despite its fearsome looks, monkfish is prized for its firm, sweet, lobster-like tail meat, the only part usually eaten. Monkfish inhabit the continental shelf and slope, from shallow inshore waters to depths of 3,000 feet, 900 meters. Most abundant in the northwest Atlantic, Cape Cod to Newfoundland, and northeast Atlantic, Iceland, Barents Sea to Morocco. Life cycle. Long-lived, can exceed 20 years, slow to mature. Females reach sexual maturity at 4 to 6 years. Spawns offshore. Females release buoyant ribbons of eggs up to 30 feet, 10 meters, long. These traits make them vulnerable to overfishing, slow to rebuild if depleted. History. From trash to treasure. In the US and Europe, monkfish was traditionally discarded as bycatch by ground fish fleets targeting cod, haddock, and flounder. Through the 1970s, most catches were thrown overboard. In France and Spain, however, monkfish has long been valued as lote, or rape, a delicacy in bouillabaisse and Basque cuisine. The turning point. Overfishing of classic whitefish in the 1980s and 90s led chefs and processors to seek alternatives. By the late 1990s, U.S. monkfish landings peaked at 160 million pounds. Year, now a staple in fine dining. Monkfish tail can fetch $10 or $20 per alb retail, with liver, ankimo, prized in Japan as foie gras of the sea. How monkfish is caught, methods and regions. Gear types. Bottom trawls, towed nets skim muddy, sandy bottoms, most common in large-scale US and European fisheries. Gill nets, set on the seafloor for targeted day hauls. Hooks and lines, used by artisanal and small-scale fisheries, mainly in Europe. Key regions. US Atlantic, Massachusetts, Maine, Rhode Island, New Jersey. Europe, France, Spain, UK, Norway. Data. NOAA, 2022, US monkfish landings. 15,500 metric tons, ex-vessel value $35 million. EU, 2021. Combined Atlantic, EU landings. 60,000 metric tons. More than 90% of US landings are from New England, mid-Atlantic ports. Bycatch issues. Trawling can catch non-target species, cod, haddock, skates, and impact seafloor habitat. But regulations now require bycatch reduction devices, real-time closures when protected species are caught, strict trip limits, science and sustainability, fisheries management. Monkfish is managed by quotas, size and gear restrictions. In the US, the fishery is overseen by the New England and Mid-Atlantic Fishery Management Councils under NOAA. Annual quotas set via scientific surveys, stock assessments, and industry input. Minimum landing sizes, 17 inches for tails, US, 30 centimeters, EU. Gear restrictions, closed areas, turtle excluder devices, habitat protection zones. Stock status. NOAA, 2023. U.S. monkfish stock. Not overfished, not subject to overfishing. EU. Most stocks are healthy or stable, but regional concerns remain in the North Sea and Bay of Biscay. Marine Stewardship Council, MSC. Several trawl and gillnet fisheries certified in the EU. Monkfish supports. Hundreds of small boat operators in New England, the UK, and France. Processing jobs. Skinning, tail filleting, liver and cheek preparation. Export, US and EU. Product shipped fresh or frozen to Japan, Korea, and China. Economic value. Global monkfish trade estimated at $300 million year. Price volatility tied to supply, quality, and Asian market demand. In Japan, high-grade ankimo can retail for $50, $100 world traceability. QR code systems, vessel-level tracking, and dock-to-dish marketing are growing. Eco-labels, MSC, Friends of the Sea, boost price premiums and market access. Culinary profile. Why chefs love monkfish. Monkfish tail is called poor man's lobster for a reason. Dense, sweet flesh, low in fat, doesn't flake apart when cooked. Holds up to grilling, roasting, braising, and sous vide. Popular uses. Mediterranean, wrapped in prosciutto, roasted with garlic and herbs. French, poached in beurre blanc or served in classic stews. Asian, monkfish liver, ankimo, steamed, pressed and served as sushi or sashimi. Nutritional data, per 100 g. Calories, 76. Protein, 15 to 18 g. Fat, 1 to 2 g. Rich in selenium, B12, phosphorus, omega-3s. Low in mercury, making it a healthy seafood choice. Sustainability challenges, trawling, bycatch, and climate change. Even with management, monkfish faces ongoing challenges. Trawling impact can disturb benthic habitats, sponges, corals, eelgrass. Ongoing studies monitor hotspot closures. Bycatch, cod, skate, spiny dogfish, and sea turtles sometimes caught. Regulators require turtle excluders and seasonal area closures. Climate change. Monkfish prefer cool, deep waters. Warming seas may push populations north or into deeper, less accessible areas. Solutions. Improved net designs, real-time closures, data sharing, scientific monitoring, electronic logbooks, onboard observers, genetic tagging, market incentives for low-impact, eco-labeled fish. New approaches are shaping the future. Direct-to-consumer, online seafood boxes, chef-to-home delivery, e.g. Red's Best, Fulton Fish Market. Whole fish use, livers, cheeks, skins, and bones now valued by chefs and foodies, reducing waste. Aquaculture pilots. A few startups are experimenting with farmed monkfish, though commercial scale is years away. Policy innovation. Dynamic quotas, adjusting limits as climate shifts stocks. International cooperation. US and EU scientists sharing data, managing cross-boundary stocks. Traceability. Blockchain pilots to track fish from sea to table. Cultural and social impact. Monkfish isn't just about economics. It's part of coastal identity. New Bedford, Gloucester, Boulogne-sur-Mer, Vigo. These ports have reinvented themselves with monkfish as a key catch. Generational fishermen pass down monster tales and culinary traditions. Local festivals, monkfish days, and chef collaborations spotlight the species and its sustainability. Social good. Small-scale, well-managed fisheries support rural livelihoods. Public education campaigns, Seafood Watch, local co-ops, encourage responsible consumption. What monkfish teaches us about the future of food. Monkfish's journey from trash to treasure is a model for sustainable seafood. Resilience, how fisheries and chefs adapt to new realities. Innovation, how science and technology can make unloved species valuable and sustainable. Stewardship, how every dinner plate can support healthy oceans and fishing communities. Final thought. If the world can fall in love with monkfish, an ugly bottom-dwelling sea monster, maybe there's hope for the future of both food and fisheries. Have you tasted monkfish, tail, cheeks, or ankamo? How did it compare to lobster or cod? Should more underutilized species like monkfish become the focus of sustainable seafood? Share your thoughts below. Subscribe to AGRI 360X for daily data-driven stories about the foods that shape our world. New episodes at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m.